So friends, welcome back to another video on React machine coding question. Let's have a look the question that we are going to solve. So the name of the question is transfer list. In this we have to create two lists. One is the left, another one is the right. ठीक है? Plus in front of the items हमारे पास checkbox है, as we can see. Okay. Plus we have these four buttons. ठीक है. Now let's understand the functionality of these buttons. सबसे पहले we have these two buttons जो कि enable है, right? Let's click on this. When we will be clicking on this button, so it will shift all the items from right side to the left side. ठीक है? Plus on clicking this, it will do the vice versa. Okay. Plus when there are like no items, it will be disabled. Similarly, यहाँ पे भी क्या हुआ? Left से हम right पे आ गए and then it's disabled, right? Plus now let's talk about कि ये दो जो buttons है, when these buttons will be enabled. So yes, you have guessed it right. When the items are selected, then these buttons will be highlighted or enabled. ठीक है? तो मोटा मोटी अगर हम बात करें तो ये क्या करेगा, हमारे सारे आइटम्स को एक तरफ से दूसरे तरफ ले जाएगा, प्लस जो ये बटन है ये हमारे खाली सेलेक्टेड वंस को ले जाएंगे. ठीक है? सो दिस इज द फंक्शनैलिटी. सो क्वेश्चन काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है. ठीक है? तो वीडियो को बीच में मत छोड़ना. डू वॉच दिस वीडियो टिल द एंड एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब एज वेल. सो दिस कुड बी आस्क्ड इन द रिएक्ट मशीन कोडिंग, प्लस इफ यू आर वर्किंग इन सम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन तो ये प्रोडक्ट की रिक्वायरमेंट भी हो सकती है, राइट? तो क्वेश्चन मिलते ही सीधा इसको करने के लिए डोंट जंप इनटू डूइंग इट. ठीक है? फर्स्ट लेट्स ब्रेक इट कि हम इसको अप्रोच कैसे करेंगे. तो हैव अ लुक ओवर हियर. यूआई, लॉजिक और स्टेट हमने इसको तीन पार्ट में बांट दिया है. ठीक है? तो अगर हम यूआई की बात करें, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल बी हैविंग आवर ऐप कंटेनर. ठीक है? उसके अंदर वी कैन हैव आवर लिस्ट कंपोनेंट. ठीक है? सो एक हमारी होगी लेफ्ट लिस्ट, एक होगी हमारी राइट लिस्ट. जो क्या करेगा, सिंपली हमको वो चेकबॉक्स के जो आइटम्स है वो रेंडर करके देगा, राइट? तो वी हैव आइटम लिस्ट, आइटम्स लिस्ट. Now inside this we have four buttons. These four buttons. Cool. So this is how we are going to approach our UI. Let's talk about the logic now. So we are going to have three functions. One will be responsible for transferring all the items from one end to another. Another will transfer only the selected items. Another function that will tell us basically if it has no selected items, so that we can disable these particular buttons. Cool. So we are actually dividing the responsibilities. Now we have state. So you will be given the state something like this: the left list items, the right list items, and we are going to modify it into something like this. Okay, key value pairs like JavaScript false, React true, which means like we are trying to decide whether it's checked or unchecked on the basis of its value. You can use map or object, anything. We are going to use object because the structure is not that much complex, so we can go with object now. So friends, I hope the question is clear. Now let's get started. So we'll be using code sandbox ka UI, like code sandbox, to code this particular thing. Now let's create two states first. So we have created two states. One is the state of the left list and another one is the state of the right list, and we have passed this default items and default items right. Now you must be thinking about this generate items object. So we are going to write this function right now. Let's write this function. What this function will be doing is, as we just discussed, that it will create our array into the object. So it will be taking these items. This is the array right now. Okay, and what we are going to do is return items dot reduce, and it will be taking accumulator comma label. Now initial state will be reduce, sorry, object, my bad. Now accumulator, basically object at that particular label. So we are just simply traversing our array and we are doing like object at that particular key, the value at that particular key will be false. So by default we don't know which is checked or unchecked. By default all are unchecked, right? So we are simply going to mark it as false. Cool. So this work is done, right? One more thing, simply console log it. This is how our state looks. Key value, all are false in the beginning. Now what we can do, let's code the UI. So let's, as we discussed over here, let's create this items list component first. Function items list. So inside this items list we are going to pass the items, okay, and we are also going to pass the setter. Cool. Now simply return its JSX. So we have one div and one UL because it is list, so we are going to make use of unordered list. Plus friends, I am using BEM convention for writing our CSS. It's block element modifier, so it basically increases the readability. As you can see over here, what we can do, we can give it a class name of transfer list. Then inside it we are giving it transfer list section, then we are saying transfer list section items. So it's easy to break it down and it's more readable. Now inside this, what we can do, we can simply do object dot entries, and I hope you know why we are doing this object dot entries, because right now these items are not array, it is object. We have just converted it into object, and over here we are going to destructure label comma checked. Cool. Now inside this we are going to have the li something like this. Let's give it a key for uniqueness, and we are going to have unique labels, so that we are going to give it. Now friends, we are going to create another component. ठीक है, हम fully utilize करेंगे React की component वाली power. So let's have another function that is check box item. Now try to decide कि ये कौन कौन से props लेगा. ठीक है, so one prop will be label. ठीक है, check box item है, राइट. सो इसमें हमें एक लेबल देना है, एक चेक अनचेक के लिए फंक्शनैलिटी देनी है, और एक वैल्यू बतानी है बुलियन कि ये चेक्ड है कि नहीं, राइट. सो जितना आप उसको कंपोनेंट में तोड़ोगे उतनी आपकी एबिलिटी भी इंक्रीज होगी, लाइक टू राइट दी मॉड्यूलर कंपोनेंट्स, टू राइट रीयूजेबल कंपोनेंट्स. आई होप आपने मटेरियल यूआई एंड डिज़ाइन स्टाइल कंपोनेंट्स यूज़ किए होंगे. सो यू गेट टू सी देयर दे लाइक स्मॉल कंपोनेंट्स, लाइक कार्ड कंपोनेंट होता है हमारे पास, मोडाल होता है, ऑल दोज कंपोनेंट्स. So similarly you will be also able to create these small reusable components. So it's nothing fancy, I have simply copied the HTML. ठीक है, HTML में ज़्यादा टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करना. So it's a simple input type equals checkbox. We are going to okay. So हम ID ले लेते हैं. We have to give it a unique ID. So आप unique ID के लिए use ID यूज़ कर सकते हो over here. Okay. React provide करता है use ID. ठीक है, so you can simply make use of that use ID for uniqueness. ये बढ़िया hook है, you can try it. Now we have input type equals to checkbox, checked equals checked, on change, and we are using this label, and to associate both of them we are using HTML for ID. Cool. Now let's quickly use this inside over here, checkbox item, and we are going to pass the props. Label equals label, checked equals checked, and now on change. So we have to write the functionality for on change on our own. So let's see, set items, it has the access to previous items, so we are actually using second form of state. Now what we are going to do is simply destructure previous items, comma, inside this for a particular label what we are going to do is we are simply going to toggle it like previous items at label. So it's very simple. This on change is basically responsible for toggling this functionality, right? And as you know that we have this object, so what we are going to do is we are simply trying to do like this particular object at this particular label object, basically value at this CSS, and we are toggling its value. That is false, it will become true. If it's true, it will become false. That's a simple functionality. Cool. So one thing is done. Now let's come over here and let's add items list. Items list, and as we know it was taking items, so items will be items left plus control space set items left. Cool. Table is not defined. Okay, my bad. So our left list is rendered. Similarly, what we are going to do, copy and paste it. Our right list is also rendered. So we are going closer to what we have decided, right? We have app container, then we have two items list. Now we have to create functions. Let's first copy the styles. I'm going to copy the styles. Let's import it. Yeah, it's imported. Okay. So what I've done is I have simply copied the styles. These are not fancy styles. These are simple, like display flex and adding the border and little bit of gap in between. So don't worry, we are going to go through them also, and I will be pushing the code to GitHub as well. So now let's create the button. So this is the code for button. Let's quickly add one class name over here, that will be transfer hyphen list. Cool. So with the help of this particular class, we have got this border around it, and we have also got this partition in between for buttons. Now if we talk about the button, we have simply added area label for accessibility. Like if you have worked on accessibility, you will get to know that this area label is basically the area attribute that we provide so that screen readers are able to pronounce these particular things. So when the let's say if we are on this and if we press tab, as you can see, so when the screen reader will come to this button, it will pronounce transfer all items to left list. So this is the use of basically the area labels, area attributes. Cool. Now this is basically left like this symbol, less than. Now quickly add few functionalities. Like one functionality will be disabled. Okay, so when we are going to keep it disabled, so when object dot keys, and inside this we have items right dot length equals 0. Okay, so what we are saying over here, like this will be disabled if there are like no items on the right side. Similarly, let's create another button and let's say item left, right? Something like this. So let's quickly create all the buttons. So as we can see, I have written the code for buttons. So we have all these 4 buttons in place. Let's have a look at them. So number 1 button is this, that will transfer all the items from right to left. Then we have the button that will only transfer the selected items from to left list, basically from right to left. Then we have another button that will do the same from right to left, but only the selected items. Then we have another button that will transfer all items to right list from left. Cool. Plus we are also okay with the disabled functionality, that this will be disabled only if there are like no items over here. This will be disabled only if there are like no items over here. Okay. Now we have to write the functionality to disable these 2 buttons. So as I've told you, these will be only disabled if none of these are selected. So right now these should be disabled. So let's quickly create this function as no selected items. So inside this, let's have these items, and we are simply going to return the boolean. So boolean will be like object dot values. So using this, we are going to get an array of the values of this object. Basically this is key, this is value, so it will be the array of boolean values. And now we are going to use this every. Okay, every, and inside this every, let's pass value, basically a function, callback function that will be called on every element of our array. So अब ये समझते हैं what this every does. ठीक है, so every क्या करेगा, ये true या false return करेगा, but it checks, it will only return true या false if all the members of our array satisfied the specified test. ठीक है, जो हमारे ये टेस्ट है, अगर सारे के सारे मेंबर्स हमारे एरे के ये सेटिस्फाई करते हैं पर्टिकुलर कंडीशन, तभी वो ट्रू रिटर्न करेगा, एल्स फॉल्स रिटर्न करेगा. ठीक है, तो फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव टू चेक, हमें ये डिसेबल कब करना है, अगर कोई भी इनमें से एक चेक्ड हो, राइट. तो व्हाट इट विल डू, इट विल चेक इनमें से अगर कोई भी, व्हाट इट इज चेकिंग, इट्स चेकिंग फॉर द फॉल्सी वैल्यूज. ठीक है, सो इट्स चेकिंग ऑल ऑफ देम आर फॉल्स, so it will return us true. And if it's returning us true, it means कि सारे के सारे false है, none of them are checked, so these buttons will be disabled. But अगर इनमें से कोई भी एक हमारा false true हो जाता है, right, then the condition will fail for any one of them. So in that particular case it will return us false. So basically every के लिए सारे के सारे जो हमारे members है array के should pass this particular test. Okay, now let's come over here. Okay, which one, this one. So this will be disabled, sorry, not over here, over here. So ये कब डिसेबल होगा हमारा, जब हमारा जो हमने फंक्शन क्रिएट करा है हैज नो सेलेक्टेड आइटम्स, इट विल रिटर्न अस ट्रू. ठीक, आइटम्स लेफ्ट. सिमिलरली फॉर दिस एंड पास आइटम्स राइट ओवर. ठीक है, कुछ भी नहीं है, इट्स जस्ट सिंपली चेकिंग इफ एनी ऑफ द एलिमेंट प्रेजेंट इज चेक्ड और नॉट. अगर कोई भी एक अगर चेक्ड हो जाता है देन इट विल बी इनेबल्ड और एल्स इट विल नॉट. ठीक, नाउ अब हमें क्या फंक्शनैलिटी लिखनी है. देखा जाए तो हमने मोटा मोटी सारी फंक्शनैलिटीज कवर कर ली है. यूआई हमने बना दिया है, लॉजिक का हमने खाली एक फंक्शन लिखा है एंड स्टेट हमारी रेडी है. राइट, नाउ वी हैव टू राइट दीज टू फंक्शंस, ट्रांसफर ऑल आइटम्स एंड ट्रांसफर सेलेक्टेड आइटम्स. So let's come over here, write the function transfer all items, similarly transfer selected items. Selected item. Now अब इसको थोड़ा सोचना पड़ेगा हमें. राइट, हमें क्या करना है, वी हैव टू ट्रांसफर ऑल दी आइटम्स. तो जब हम इस पे क्लिक करेंगे तो हमारे जितने भी आइटम्स यहाँ पर है वो इस पर्टिकुलर लिस्ट से उठ के इस पर्टिकुलर लिस्ट में चले जाएंगे. सो इन दिस पर्टिकुलर केस वी हैव लाइक सोर्स एंड डेस्टिनेशन. so we can take two things like item source, okay, set items source comma items destination, set items destination. two things कि एक तो हमारे ये सोर्स आइटम्स हो गए, ठीक है, और ये हमारा डेस्टिनेशन के आइटम्स हो गए. राइट, फ्रॉम सोर्स टू डेस्टिनेशन. so let's see what we can do. set items destination will have access to previous items comma now previous items comma items source. Right, so one more thing, set items source as empty object. Now let's call it first, then we will try to understand it. Okay, the question, it was transfer all items. So right now we are transferring, the first button will transfer from right to left. Okay, so the source items are items right, set items right comma destination is items left comma set items left. Similarly let's do the magic for this last button, items left, set items left, items right, set items right. Cool. So friends, I think it should work. Let's check. So what we are doing is we have this like source and destination. So when we are clicking on this, which means, oh, it worked. It didn't work, it broke. The code is breaking some. Let's refresh it. So what we are trying to do is we are simply trying to move all these items from here to here and here to here, vice versa. Let's see once more. Let's doing items src. Oh, my bad. we need to spread it. Let's refresh it. Let's click on this. Cool. So friends, as you can see, it's moving all the items from one end to another. Let's click on this. Yeah, it's also taking all the elements from that end to that end. Now let's talk about why we did this. We did this because if we comment it and if we click on this, then as you can see, this end is not yet like removed. So that's why. Cool. Now quickly write the code for this transfer selected items only. Now to transfer selected items in this also we will be requiring same arguments. Why? Because the task is similar only, but to only transfer those elements which are selected. So set item destination, and we have access to previous items. Then okay, let's destructure, let's spread the previous items because we want the items that are already there should be there. Then apart from this, object dot from entries, I will tell you what I am doing. Object dot entries, so friends, what we are doing over here, very interesting. So we are actually setting set items destination. ठीक है, तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं, let's say we have selected these two particular items. Okay, so when we have selected these two particular items, so हमारा इनकी जो values है, it has become true. Okay, so when we are going to click on one more thing, it's when we have clicked these two items, ये वाली नहीं, ये वाली, ये वाला बटन, this button should have turned should have enabled. Okay, so let's see, छोटा सा issue होगा. Yeah, right, items. Cool. So yeah, we were talking about this. जब हमने इसको select किया and when we will be clicking on this particular button, तो ये क्या करेगा, खाली ये जो दोनों के दोनों आइटम्स है, यही दोनों हमारे यहाँ से उठ के इस पर्टिकुलर लिस्ट में जाने चाहिए. राइट, तो उसके लिए हमने क्या किया, वी हैव चेक प्रीवियस आइटम्स. तो जो प्रीवियस आइटम्स है वो तो होने ही चाहिए इस पर्टिकुलर डेस्टिनेशन में. राइट, वो रहेंगे. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, जो हमारे सोर्स के आइटम्स है, ये हमारे सोर्स के आइटम्स है. ठीक है, सो विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस ऑब्जेक्ट डॉट एंट्रीज हमने इसको एरे में कन्वर्ट किया. ठीक है, देन हमने उस पर फिल्टर चलाया एंड यूजिंग दिस फिल्टर यहाँ पे हमने क्या करा है, डिस्ट्रक्चर किया है बेसिकली की और वैल्यू को. ठीक है, अभी हमारे यहाँ पे वैल्यू से काम है, की से काम नहीं है. राइट, तो हमने चेक किया कि हमें वो एलिमेंट्स फिल्टर आउट करके दो बेसिकली जो कि हमारे ट्रू है. ठीक है, सो वी गॉट एन एरे ऑफ ट्रू वैल्यूज. राइट, फिर after that we are converting it into object, we are converting it into object back. Right, because the actual form of state is object not array. हमने यहाँ पे इसको एरे में इसलिए कन्वर्ट किया ताकि हम इस पे फिल्टर्स चला सके. ठीक है, जब हमें पता लग गया व्हेन वी हैव गॉट दीज टू फील्ड्स विच आर इनेबल्ड, जिसको हमें यहाँ से यहाँ पे शिफ्ट करना है, तो हमने उसको वापस क्या करा, ऑब्जेक्ट में कन्वर्ट कर लिया. ठीक है, ताकि जो ओरिजिनल फॉर्म ऑफ स्टेट है वो मेंटेन रह सके. राइट, वन मोर थिंग, नाउ these two things will go from here to here. Okay, and over here only these two things should remain. So for that also, okay, let's click on this button, let's see if it's work. Okay, it's not working, I think there is some error. Okay, it's not working because we have not called this function. Just give me a second. Let's see now. Okay, not working, oh so sorry. transfer selected item. Cool. Let's select this and let's see. Not working yet. Okay, just we have to left over here, it will be right. It's not that much easy, friends. So okay, let's see. Cool. So as we can see, जो हमने दोनों के दोनों enable करे, that got transferred from one list to another list, but these two elements are still over there. तो हमें क्या करना है, यहाँ पे भी एक फिल्टर लगाना है कि भैया जो इनेबल है वो वहाँ चले जाए, बाकी जो डिसेबल्ड है वही आ रहा है, ठीक है, विच आर नॉट चेक बेसिकली. सो अब इस बार हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा, वी विल हैव टू सेट द सोर्स, नॉट डेस्टिनेशन वी हैव टच्ड. नाउ प्रीवियस आइटम्स ओवर हियर, again object dot from entries we are going to use. Okay, I hope now we know why we are using it. And inside this again we need object dot entries so that we can create the array. And now inside this we are using previous items. Now over here dot filter, basically we are running a filter, and inside this let's have this key comma value and value. So now let's try to understand what we have done. Once we have transferred all the enabled items, checked items from here to here, iterator value CSS is not an entry object. Got it. We don't need to do this. Yeah, let's see now. Cool. So as we can see now, all the checked portion it got shifted from left list to right list, and we are only left with the entries which are false, which are not checked. So we are simply filtering it on the basis of that, right? Now let's see if this is also working or not. Let's check this. Cool. So it got shifted from here to here. Let's see if this thing, and as you can see, as these are not checked, so we are getting it disabled. Let's see if, yeah, now this are disabled. Why? Because none of them are checked and there are no entries over here. So I think it's working fine as expected. Cool. Let's see if we have achieved everything or not. We have written the code for these three functions, we have our UI ready, and we have managed our state successfully as well. So friends, if you want to write this code in using map data structure, you can write it as well, and I will also try to write the code using map.ds, basically map, and we'll share the code. Okay, so friends, this is it for this particular video. One small announcement: if you want to connect with me one-on-one for like anything or a mock interview for front end, then you can simply connect with me over this particular link. Okay, and yeah, that's it for this particular video, friends. I will push this code to GitHub, and as I told you, there was nothing much in this style.css. It was a simple, like we added border, display flex, then we added few paddings, and yeah, it's only a basic CSS only. Okay, and over here also this is our original state. Okay, these are some of the helper functions that we have written over here to convert our array into object, then to check basically if it has selected items or not, to transfer all the items, and to transfer the selected items only. After that, we created two small components. Okay, and we also made use of this useID hook. We also use this BEM convention for writing our CSS, and this is our app container, and this is our state. So friends, this is it from this particular video. If you have liked the content, if you have loved my efforts, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.